No.
Yes.
Of course not.
She will.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. No. No.
Why Tama is set up to join.
Yeah, that's the main point we will talk about today. Or you will talk about. I'm not so sure.
I will try.
We talked about someone joining the Straw Hat crew in an earlier video. So if you haven't checked that out yet, we have linked it here in the description text below. Blah, 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 blah.
Do you know?
Convince me.
The first notion of Tama's existence in the One Piece universe, it was like all the way back in Marineford already. It wasn't said that she existed back then, but in retrospect, we know that it was Tama who taught Ace to make Amigas hats, straw hats. And he made one for Oris Jr., right? You remember that?
Yeah, we saw a small flashback with him from Wano.
And it's quite similar to, the first time we saw Laboon. We found out that Laboon was waiting for a few pirates who most likely died already. And then it turned out to be Brook. And Brook joined the crew.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then, before Luffy and company arrived in Water 7, Luffy drew a picture of a guy. Said, this guy will be our shipwright. Remember? He's like 3 meters tall and yada yada yada. And actually in the anime, that picture, the guy Luffy drawed, he got blue hair. And he had giant arms.
Yeah.
Who does that sound like?
Yeah.
So both these characters, they had hints towards their existence before they were introduced, similar to Tama teaching Ace making straw hats in Marineford. It just shows that Oda has like the whole crew, the complete crew in his mind for a very long time. I mean, Marineford is like, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, sure. Could be, but it could also be just foreshadowing for Wano, and that he thought about the idea that Tama would do it at a later date. But sure, next point.
Alright. Tama's connection with Ace. Dude, just like Jinbei, she has a link and a past with Ace. They're both late joiners in the crew, both joining in New World, but their connection to the past make them feel intertwined throughout the whole overall story and Luffy's journey. And it will also make every crew member knowing about Ace and Luffy's relationship, as well as Luffy's loss in Marineford. If another crew member joins, a completely new one, they won't have a clue what happened.
Or maybe they have some clue if they've read the newspaper.
One of the most important points of all is Tama, she wants to be a pirate. How many characters actually want to be a pirate? She dreamed of being a pirate with Ace. She made a promise to Ace that she would become an enchanting kunoichi in order to be allowed to join his crew. That was like 4 years ago. Of course, now with Ace being passed away, her dream could be becoming an enchanting kunoichi in his honors. Something similar to Usopp, self-growth, character development, and she has her dream set up already.
Critique of that is that Shanks denied Luffy to be a pirate at that young of age. He said, when you become older, you will be able to be a pirate. Do you think Luffy will not follow Shanks?
I'm talking about Tama's dream.
Ideals.
We're not talking about her age just yet.
Yeah, but Luffy had the same dream when he was like 8.
Who is Luffy? He's the Straw Hat captain. He got a dream. Tama got a dream. Let's continue. Back in volume 91.
Yeah, with all the Straw Hats.
And
another character.
Featured in the center, posing with the Straw Hat crew, Tama. Not many characters get this kind of spotlight alone with Straw Hats. In my mind, I think only Rayleigh got it, and he was still a bit outside of the group. And in the same volume, Tama wore Luffy's straw hat, which only Nami and Robin has done before.
Right.
And Sweet Pea in Amazon did. What I'm thinking is, this is basically Oda's point of shoving Tama's new crew member right into our faces, and we can't even see it, but it's right there.
Yeah, sure.
She has the perfect and the only known position left to cover on the crew. Pirate Disciple. Just like Shanks, just like Boogie, just like Kaido. And being a Pirate Disciple goes hand in hand with being a kid. And also, with her being a kid, she represents a new generation in the crew. You know, just like Jinbei and Brook.
The only position?
I mean, if you don't
can
count
find
first
out
mate.
a lot of positions. Scientist, lookout.
Lookout is
Diplomat.
never even mentioned in the manga. There's no such position as lookout.
Have they been looking for a disciple?
No, but that's the only position left to cover on a pirate crew.
Painter.
It's not a pirate position, bro. She covers several different roles and bring new and unique skills to the crew. You know, as a disciple, she will help around and learn what it takes to be a pirate. As a kunoichi, she will help around with the intelligence infiltration tasks, which she has already done, by the way. As a monster tamer, she can rack up several useful minions, you know, for different purposes, whether it be fighting, riding, getting intelligence, like in Udon. And as a straw hat weaver, she will make sure to keep Luffy's straw hat whole and undamaged.
Yeah, the last one there is vital.
For sure, bro.
Luffy is not taking care of his hat. Sure, taming monsters, but that at the same time, that is something Luffy can do. He tamed the Kraken.
He
Island,
submits and befriends monsters. Tama makes the monsters her minion. It's a bit different. Like, they have similar skills, but they work in different way. I mean, just like Brook is fencing and Zoro is doing Bushido. Luffy already unknowingly took over one of Ace's promises, right? He said when he is done in Wano, he will make it a place where nobody has to go hungry anymore. Alright, what other promise did Ace make to Tama? He promised Tama to let her on his crew when she becomes an enchanting Kunichi, right? And luckily for Tama, as we know with Luffy's interactions with Momo, Luffy doesn't judge a character by their age, but rather by their actions. Tama, she doesn't necessarily need to grow up or become enchanting to join the crew, but she does need to prove herself being capable, you know, just like every other straw hat. Her power is definitely useful in the upcoming conflict against Kaido's Smile Army, so that will be Tama's golden opportunity to prove she's capable and worth of being a straw hat.
My main point against this is that it's the same exact thing as with Shanks. The only difference is that I guess Luffy doesn't judge someone by their age the same way Shanks did. But it could also mean that Oda is setting up for Luffy to come back to Wano after the entire series, and Tama will join then.
She fits aesthetically and personality-wise in the crew. You know, the Straw Hat group aesthetics. We have 3 big characters, Jinbei, Brook, Frankie, 6 average-sized characters, you know, with Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, and Robin, but only 1 small character, Chopper. Adding another small and female character, it's the missing piece in the group's design. And as we have seen in the sketch from our last video, Oda actually cares about it. He got a height meter at the side, and then every character's different height. So in the group dynamics, that's the kind of character we're missing. She is slowly getting to know the crew already. You know, obviously she already bonded with Luffy. I mean, she's basically his little sister. Zoro also took notice of her. There's a nice sweet panel right over here. And she convinced and took Chopper for a ride with Big Mom to Udon. If she's supposed to join, I bet we will see her continue to bond with other crew members as well. So just keep your eyes open.
This one could be for like every character in every arc ever.
No, you know, as with all Straw Hats, you know, they have several different inspirations and influences from other medias and stories. Like Frankie, he's like crazy mix of Terminator, Ace Ventura, Frankenstein, Popeyes, Japanese mechas, you know, Gundam and shit, robots. Yeah, there are literally tons of different influences in your characters that a lot of people haven't realized. So I'm just gonna list up a few and you'll be amazed. The most obvious influence is from the Japanese folklore story about Momotaro. Just like Momonosuke and Luffy Taro to an extent, they have influences from the story, with Momotaro being able to... He befriended 3 animals, a pheasant, a monkey and a dog, thanks to feeding them kibidango.
And the 3 animals are the admirals.
Yeah.
They are based on this as well, right?
Exactly. And another story, old Japanese story, is lump removing old man. About an old man with a huge lump on his cheek. and he make a deal with a couple of Onis and Tengus to remove the lump from his cheek. So just like Tama, you know, she removes Kibidangos from his cheek, the old man got his lump removed from his cheek. There's a common theme about young kids and Tengus, like young kids being taught sportsmanship and magic by Tengus and being raised by Tengus. The most famous one is Yoshitsune no Minamoto, very famous, like, he's basically Thor of Japan or something like that, very famous warrior. And what does that have in common with Tama? Yeah, Tama is living together with his master, right? Hitetsu. Hitetsu is a Tengu. She's basically being raised by a Tengu, just as the famous folklore hero. When it comes to popular culture, one of Oda's favorite movie directors is Hayao Miyazaki, Spirited Away, and Studio Ghibli, exactly. And several of Miyazaki's heroines, they share common traits with Tama. You know, they're typical shoujo heroines. They're brave, they're young girls, they have an affinity to nature and animals and small critters and stuff. And they're fighting against evil and environmental destruction. Just like in Princess Mononoke, Naosuke Valley of the Wind, Wano, in Spirited Away as well. The movie's about a young girl, her friend, a boy who can turn into a dragon. Similar, Tama, Momo, who can turn into a dragon. Yeah, I think there's a lot of inspiration from his movies. So another one of Oda's favorite mangas is Ninja Hattori-kun. And Oda made a tribute to the manga, and there's an interview with the mangaka as well in Color Walk 1, I believe. And one of the characters from Ninja Hattori-kun, Tsubame, she actually looks a bit similar to Tama. I mean, both short, young girls, kunoichis, and they both have the red cheeks. And this manga is basically, it's basically the godfather to common ninja stereotypes like we have in Naruto and stuff. Another character who Tama shares some design traits with is Eiko from Final Fantasy IX. Oda actually played that game. It's in the weekly comment stuff. He said he bought it. And you know, they're both young girls with purple hair controlling huge badass creatures. Alright, fun facts. The numbers vary. This has actually been mentioned in the SBS, so it's something Oda is aware of, and most fans as well. Among the devil fruit users in the crew, their devil fruits fits a certain pattern that has been brought up in the SBS, as I said. Every devil fruit is assigned to unique numbers from 1 to 10, alright? The one everybody knows basically is Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Mi, right? Gomu Gomu, 5-6, 5-6.
5-6.
Chopper's Hito Hito no Mi, 110, 110. Robin's Hana Hana no Mi, 8-7, 8-7. Brooks Yomi Yomi no Mi, 4-3, 4-3. Alright? So we got two numbers missing, 2 and 9.
2 and 9.
There are other devil fruits that could fit into this pattern, like Kumas and Kinemons. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that any of those are joining. But what is interesting, however, we don't know the name of Tama's devil fruit. It hasn't been revealed yet. So I did some research to find out if it's possible she could have a devil fruit that covers number 2 and 9. And it is. If her devil fruit's name is Tsuku Tsuku no Mi, with Tsuku meaning to stick or to get attached, you know, just like Tama's minions gets attached to her and they stick with her, as well as it could be a shortcut from the word Natsuku, which means something like get along, you know, like Tama gets along. She makes animals get along with her.
A short question. Do you believe that if Tama will join, that she will bring along animal followers? Or will she recruit them in each and every arc?
I think she would recruit new ones in every arc.
Yeah, like the main points against Tama is her age, that she is 8 years old. She's very, very young. Do you have an answer to that?
Of course, man. You need to be a kid to fill the only official position left to fill in the Strahd crew, pirate disciple. I mean, Shanks and Boogie, they were younger than 8.
Could be a teenager.
No, Luffy is a teenager, bro. Luffy is a teenager, okay? And he's gonna be the pirate king. How can you have a pirate disciple same age as
like
Luffy?
14.
No, but the thing is, the difference is with
It's
Tama.
19.
Listen. With Tama being 8, not only does she mirror Momo's age, well, we could get into the relationship between Momo and Tama as well later, but she represents a new generation in the crew. It's the whole thing about diversity, the whole big family. You know, you got Jinbei at 40s, you got Frankie at 30s, and then when it comes to Momo and Tama, they're equals. A lot of people say that Tama will marry him or some bullshit like that, or become his subordinate.
Yeah.
Tama addressed Momo like an equal, and Momo reacted to it. He didn't actually like it. And if they're equals, Tama needs to do something that is equal to Momo becoming a shogun, right? And that would be to join the future Pirate King's crew. There it is. Then they're still on equal standing. One is pirate with a legendary crew, another one is Shogun of Wano.
The other point is that she's too weak. If we look forward, One Piece doesn't have that much time yet left, and like the coming arcs will be chaos with Blackbeard, world government, every enemy becoming stronger and stronger, and there's no more time to like rest at Shield Islands and do a little bit of adventuring. How will Tama be able to survive a giant battle against Blackbeard and the world government? She doesn't seem that strong, right?
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Very good point. But of course she's a little...
Will Luffy bring a kid, like 8-year-old, into a freaking war, maybe?
Yeah, she has to learn what it takes to be a pirate. Of course, this is like, as I said before, Tama, she has to prove herself capable in the war. As I said, her power got tons of potential. You saw all the minions and animals she tamed already. What she needs is to show maybe... I mean, her Delphoid powers could count as Kunoichi abilities, just like how people say Nami's Weather Tempo is her ninjutsu, or some people say Robin's Delphoid power, or Shinobu's Delphoid power. Those powers are their own ninja techniques. And the same could be said for Tama, but she would need to show us some techniques to keep her safe, at least, to not get captured again. She can let her pets do the fighting, but if she could get some smoke bombs or you know, some normal shit like that, it would help a lot. And actually in the anime filler, she did show a ninja technique. She was sparring with Chopper and she threw leaves at Chopper. Leaf no jutsu. I don't know if that's helpful.
Damn filler.
Razor leaf, you know, from Pokemon. The possibilities with Tama and the crew in the future. Awesome new pets. And, you know, think about all the beasts and animals in Strong World that Oda enjoyed to draw.
Yeah.
All the beasts and animals in Impel Down. The snake in Scarpia. Just imagine the beasts she could tame in Elbaf, for example. Tons of potential, right? Tons of new cool animals and shit. And yeah, as I said before, she needs to show up in the conflict in Wano, maybe with a new Kunoichi-like outfit. Display how useful she could be to the crew. Prove her worth, tame some Kaido minions, fight. And most important, plotline with Tama and Luffy's relation, their common link with Ace. It will continue. Tama doesn't know that Luffy is Ace's brother. Luffy doesn't know about Ace's promises to Tama. And the payoff after this plotline, it's running towards its end, the payoff will be Tama will join the crew, basically. That's the end of the line, of that plotline, in my opinion. Yeah, and regarding her fighting, you talk about the war and all that stuff. Blackbeard, crew member, matchup, easy. San Juan Wolf. You know that?
Really?
For sure. That's
Mega Giant?
That's Tama's opponent. First of all, the dude looks like a children books monster, right? You know, one of those in the cover of different children books. Second of all,
Yeah.
Tama will find a monster similar size to San Juan Wolf, tame him, and they will have a giant freaking casual Godzilla battle.
That would be
Mark
awesome.
my words.
I think after listening to your arguments, I agree with you. I think this is pretty sure that Tama will be the next Straw Hat.
Really?
Definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
so happy, bro. Finally, I convinced you.
Hmm?
Oh, you'll see. You'll thank me later when she joins. So what will the next video be about, Robin?
The next video will be about why Carrot will join the Straw Hat crew.
But dude, you just agreed
So
with
I
me
will.
that Tama will join. You traitor.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't
May-
agree to shit.